Welcome back to the Amazon FBA overview mini course, and today is day 2. On my last video, the day 1, we spoke about how you can go about finding your first product to sell on Amazon FBA and how Helium 10 can help you do just that. And today we will talk about the procedures and every little step you need to know in order to just source the product. So let's jump straight into day 2. Suppliers and procedures to source for Amazon private label. Let's go. After this video, I want you to have a clear idea about where to go to source your products, as well as the whole process and what it looks like to deal with suppliers. And I will split this video into 3 sections to make it easier. First, we'll talk about Alibaba as a great place that you can go in order to source your goods. Second, I will show you how you can use it in order to find a supplier in an easy way. And third, I will address some common questions that people have. First of all, congrats! Finding a product and deciding on a product to sell on Alibaba is most likely the hardest part of the process. So if you've made it this far, if you're ready to source your product, then now I think the hardest part is done and you just need to go with the flow. Now, if you're not yet sure about what you want to sell or what you can sell on Amazon, you should watch this video right here because that's where I show you how you can find and determine the best product to sell for your Amazon FBA business. Now, the next step of your journey is finding a supplier to produce your private label items for you. And the best place to start is, without a doubt, Alibaba.com. Alibaba.com is like a directory of suppliers and factories and wholesalers that can supply the product that you want. Any product that you can imagine, you can find on Alibaba. It is a Chinese company, and of course a lot of the production of the world is based in China, so the majority of the suppliers that you will see there are Chinese and are based in China. However, you can also sort by location or filter by location, meaning you are very likely, I'm willing to bet, that you can probably also source locally if that's what you want. On your journey, you may also come across AliExpress, which is a sister website, a sister company from Alibaba. It belongs to the same company, but it's usually used for smaller retail orders. And you can also use it in order to start with Amazon FBA. And actually I have another video that explains you how you can use it. So if you prefer to go that route and use AliExpress, or if you want to wait out both options, then just watch this video right here. However, Alibaba.com is usually the place that you want to go if you want to grow faster and produce more quantity, and also if you want to produce product that is private label, meaning it's made for you, it has your own customization, it has your own brand and logo to it. So that's usually where you should go in order to start faster and start an Amazon private label business. Alibaba is also a great option because it has developed tools to protect you as a buyer, especially if you're a small starting out buyer, to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So for example, trade assurance is a service that they offer that allows you to do everything inside the website and inside the platform. So you can talk to suppliers, you can perform payments, the contracts are inside the platform, meaning you do not have to go through the hassle of writing a contract yourself or making sure that the contract that the supplier wrote is fine. So everything is done through Alibaba Trade Assurance. So you can make a trade assurance order, and yeah, all of that is out of your plate. Besides that, the order is then insured. So if one of the parts doesn't keep their word, you will not have a problem. So especially as you're starting out, I definitely recommend this method. I definitely recommend that you filter your suppliers through trade assurance, but I will show you that in a minute. Besides that, you can also see suppliers' profiles, so you can see pictures of their factory very often, you can see their reviews, you can see all of the products that they sell, the ratings, how long they've been on the platform, so you can really decide and have a better idea of who is this person that you are dealing with. And of course, you can also text them right away. That's the whole point. You need to talk to them and communicate with them. And they also have a very cool app that allows you to do things on the go. It really comes in handy. So now I will actually show you what it looks like and show you how you can find suppliers easily. So that was a rundown of the advantages of using Alibaba to source your Amazon FBA private label goods. And I will now show you 2 ways that you can go about navigating the platform to quickly get in touch with a few suppliers. Okay, so this is the homepage right now, and since you already know, I'm assuming, you already know the product that you want to buy, you can go ahead and just type it into the search bar. So let's just try this one out. Okay, so once you write the name of the product and item in the search bar, you can notice right now that you can filter both by products and by supplier. So everybody has a specific preference and you should try both and decide which one you prefer. I will show you both. So first is the product view. And the product view, I find that it is a little bit more visual, but you will probably be seeing several products from the same supplier on the search results. And the second one is a supplier view. Supplier view is a little bit more efficient maybe because you can focus on filtering the features you want in a supplier and see their whole assortment together. And yeah, both views offer a lot of different filters to help you narrow down your list of options. And one that I would always advise you to select is a trade assurance option, so you can enjoy the transaction protection that I already mentioned and I will mention again in the third section of this video. And yeah, you can also filter by the supplier's location, the markets in which they make the most business, the size of their business, if you feel like that adds to their credibility, and any certifications that your product may require. For example, ISO is a very famous one. And I would say that looking at the supplier's profile is also important. So for example, this supplier is verified and you can join a virtual tour of their factory. And yeah, they also have a lot of official documents uploaded to their profile. And they have been on Alibaba for a while, so you can see here, it's a while. Now, before we proceed, I want you to comment down below if you've ever used Alibaba to source anything and what was your experience with it. My experience so far was very easy, very smooth. I have nothing to complain about, but I want to know, what about you? Let me know down below. And another thing that you can see is that they tend to reply to most queries usually in less than 24 hours. So you can bet that this supplier is professional, it's working, it's a real supplier for sure. Not just because they reply fast, but because of everything else. Alibaba was even there, making sure that the supplier exists. But just as important, of course, is that they produce the product that you want to buy. And this, in case you came in through the supplier search, because you're filtering through supplier, maybe you have to ensure that they have the product that you want. So once you see that they do, you can check the product page, and I will show you a product page. And yeah, you want to check the product page for competitiveness when it comes to unit price, options for customization, the minimum order quantity they offer, the payment options, trade assurance, and all of the details that they offer on the product. So dimensions, FAQ, how they market it, everything that they put there. This is what you want to understand if this is the right product and partner for you. And yeah, I already said, but for smaller orders, you may not be able to customize your product, so you must keep that in mind. And you need to decide if the standard product is good enough. So basically, when you are doing this, you want to evaluate both their professionalism that you can see through the product page and how much information they offer, and also through their profile, how much information they offer about themselves, as well as how cool is the product that they want to sell you. So you really need to understand if would thousands of people be willing to buy this product from you. And yeah, so you should take your time to shortlist some products from different suppliers, and then you should message between 5 and 10 suppliers, I would say. Okay, now let's head into section 3 of this video, in which I will address some very common questions I get on this topic. So first question, how should I approach a supplier on Alibaba? You should for sure have an introductory email that you have already prepared with a list of questions that should help you narrow down your options and also give you an idea of what will be like to work with this person. So for example, if you have prepared a list of 10 questions that you really want to know about when it comes to ordering and sourcing your product, and the person comes back to you and only answered 3 of them, this may not be a good fit, because you actually need to be able to communicate with this person during, for long term. So now some other tips on this topic. They do not need to know that you are just starting out, and they do not need to know that your company is only you. In fact, I still always use we I say that I will ask my colleague to take care of the payments, that I have to ask my team what they think about certain things. And this is also good when you're negotiating, because you can always pull the play or the argument that, this was not approved, so it's not in your hands. Can't you do anything better for me? If they don't know that you're the boss, it's even better, because then you can hold that against them in negotiations and they cannot hold anything against you because you're just an employee. And definitely take yourself seriously. Your next order will be bigger and the order after that will be even bigger. So they have just as much to win for working with you as you have from working with them. So for sure, take yourself seriously and treat them as you would like to be treated, because these people can very well be a part of your team for a long while. Hopefully they will be. After you got some replies back, hopefully you were able to narrow down your list into 2 or 3 possible suppliers that you could work with longer term and that you could order from. And the part that comes after this is my favorite one, which is samples. And this takes me to question number 2 that I get a lot, is how can I go about ordering a sample through Alibaba, and also how much should I expect to pay for a sample? Okay, so the sample part is very exciting because it is the part in which you get to actually try and see the quality of the product that you're about to buy. It's also very exciting when you get it because it starts to become very real. With the suppliers from which your interaction was favorable, 2 or 3, you will order a sample. So you order a sample of their standard product, and usually samples are free. However, you can expect to pay for express shipping, which is around $50 from China to the US or from China to Europe, around that. And they should arrive within 3 to 4 days, maximum a week, but within 3 to 4 days has been my experience so far. So after you got your samples from the several suppliers, you should be able to make a decision. And at that point, you can either proceed and ask to make an order, or you can go one step further, which is to ask to personalize your sample by adding your logo, changing the colors, changing the design. And oftentimes, when you want to make big changes, most suppliers only allow you to do that if you are already buying bigger quantities, but you can also be lucky and have a supplier that is willing to personalize the product and make it your own, even at a smaller quantity. It for sure has happened to me, and it is cool because you can already have a personalized product to your brand specifically while you're still ordering just a few hundred units. And every time I ask to personalize a product, so to change something in the standard product, I always send them visuals, because I really find that sending them a visual works much better than words. So what I do is I take a picture of the standard sample product that I receive, and then I go to Upwork and I hire my favorite designer. And even if it's just to add a logo, I tell the designer exactly what I want, where I want the logo and what color it should be and so on. And then basically I just provide this final image to the supplier, and usually they have no further questions, because really images work better than words. And if you're adding, for example, a logo, you will also have to send the file of the logo to the supplier so that they can use it in production. And after that, all you need to do is just wait for the second sample to arrive, and there's something truly amazing when you see something that was just in your imagination come to life. So that part is really cool. Step is to order from Alibaba. So hopefully you are super happy with your personalized sample or with your custom sample and you want to order. So how do you go about ordering on Alibaba? All you need to do is to text your supplier once again and ask them to draft a trade assurance order. So this is my recommendation, that you should ask him to do a trade assurance order. So this order that is inside Alibaba, and that you just need to accept, pay, and everything's insured and the contract's written for you. That's really cool. So you just need to ask him to draft a trade assurance order for the conditions that you agreed. X units of the customized or standard product, agreed shipping terms, agreed payment terms, and agreed lead times. And I'll cover all of these right now. Okay, first, what are shipping terms? This is the next question. So shipping terms are the terms defined between you and the supplier when it comes to shipping. Who will do the shipping? how will the shipping take place, how much will the shipping cost depending on the method that is used for shipping. Most suppliers can do and organize the shipping for you. However, I advise you to do a little bit of research on this topic before you just discard the responsibilities of shipping to the supplier. Now, I am not a lawyer or a tax advisor, so this is not advice. However, I found out, it seems that in the European Union, for example, because you are the owner of the products, you have to be the one organizing the shipping. And as a result, you are the one who have to pay import tax. And if you just discard that to the supplier, you may be missing some legal parts of it, and then you will not be doing everything by the book, basically. You may want to read a little bit about this topic, also depending where you're based. If you're based in the European Union, maybe take a closer look at it. If you're based anywhere else, also, before you do that, just read and ask maybe a lawyer what's the legislation. Besides that, I also found that I could pay less if I would be the one organizing the shipping, besides knowing at each stage exactly where my goods are, and being the point of contact for customs. So if in case they need something else, they just call me or send me an email. It's way smoother, the process. Shipping is, to be honest, one of the biggest components of doing Amazon FBA, I find. That's why I decided to devote a full day of this mini course to it. So day 3, the next video, will be all about shipping and how you can organize the shipping and take care of these things easily. And finally, the last question to close up this topic is, what are payment terms? Luckily, payment terms are a simpler topic than shipping. And payment terms relate to how and when will you pay your order. It is very common to ask and to be granted 30/70 payment terms, meaning you pay 30% of the total amount of the order when you place the order, so when you ask the supplier to start production, and 70% as soon as the production is finished and right before it is shipped to you. Of course, this makes more sense when you're not buying standard or ready to ship goods, and also when your orders start to be a little bit higher in amount, so a little bit over a few $100s. But to be honest, I have done it even in smaller orders, and I don't think the suppliers care. So if this makes sense for you when it comes to cash flow, just ask for it, you lose nothing. So once all of that is done, you discuss this with the supplier and you drafted your trade assurance order. You should go through it carefully, make sure everything is written just as you agreed, ask any questions if you have them, and that's it. Proceed with the payment and be confident that whatever you are investing, you will soon make a lot more of that back. And while you wait, because after that just comes a whole lot of waiting, there's a lot of things that you can do back home to get started and to continue moving forward with your Amazon FBA business, which is preparing your listing, taking care of your Amazon seller account, make sure it is ready to receive your goods. And we will talk about all of that on day 4 of this mini course. Yeah, so stay tuned. And tomorrow is day 3 and we will talk about shipping. Now, if you have no clue what to write to your first supplier, I have a drafted email that I am actually giving away as a part of my freebie on my website. So if you want to put your hands on that, just go over to my website, the link is in the description box, and sign up for the freebie, because my drafted email is there and it can really help you start out and make everything a little bit easier. That's it for today. As always, if you like this video, please do not forget to give it a like. Leave me your comments down below. Let me know if you've ever used Alibaba for anything. I'm really curious about your experience. And yeah, I hope this video resonated with you in any way, and we see us next time for another one. Bye!